Hey, this is Nick the Mining Book Guy. It's been a little while, but I've got a quick one to share, really just a thank you video, because I was just at the Precious Metal Summit in Beaver Creek, Colorado last week, and had the time of my life because this was the very first mining conference summit that I've ever been to. And I've actually been to a few conferences for other industries like the video game industry before. This blew it away. I think this is probably the best junior conference anywhere. I really feel that way based on feedback I received and from others. And even though I will go to some others, I'm 99% sure I'm coming back to this one. But I wanted to send out a bunch of thank yous and give you a couple, I think, important tips at the end of this video. So, first things first, check out CEO.ca. There's a link below that goes to the Precious Metal Summit room for all the thank yous and so many people that I've met, and I know a lot of my subscribers aren't on there regularly, so you make sure to check that. But some of the most important thank yous are what I'm going to go through right now. And the first one is for Dechev at Mundoro Capital, who I've talked to on the phone a bunch of times. She was so nice and probably introduced me to more people than anyone else at the conference. I just had a great time meeting her. Of course, I love the company and I'm biased, but one point I'd like to make is I go to these conferences to try to find more companies like Mundoro. Like, even where it's at right now, I love what they're doing. I think they've had the best plan out of any company that size. And I go to Beaver Creek to find companies like Mundoro, and it's great that it's run by someone like Teo. So I wanted to mention that. And number two, Hugh Stuart. Kind of similar to Teo in introducing me to people, also really nice. To meet in person after talking on the phone. But one thing about his company, Orca Gold, is that they're a great example of a company that I own and I love, but it's a little bigger. And I think it's a neat type of company that's the transition from retail investors like me to the institutional investors like the big guys, which is what something like Beaver Creek is about. It's where all these different people come to the mix. And I really feel that Orca Gold was one of the companies of the show this year because they've been going for a while and they're making that transition. And of course I had to mention that because I own a lot of shares of Orca, but it was really nice to meet Hugh. And again, it's neat that Teo and Hugh are so friendly. Like, a lot of people, I wasn't expecting them to be as friendly as they were, but that was great. So shout out to Hugh. And then a couple of surprises for me. Simon Jackson. So, short story, I was a little disappointed that so many people didn't really know about CEO.ca. Well, I met Simon, who runs Beadell Resources in Brazil. And the thing about Simon is that he knew exactly who I was the minute I walked in, because he is the chairman of Orca, former CEO, but then took over Beadell. And he's also a director on Sarama. So two companies that I talk about a lot and that I own. He actually told me he follows what I do on CEO.ca regularly, which I thought was so neat. I mean, other people do too, but I feel like he really made my day by saying that immediately upon meeting me. And I think Beadell is actually a very interesting company in Brazil, ASX listed, a bigger company, but again, representative of what you find at Beaver Creek, because you don't just find Canadian listed companies, you find Australian listed ones, and you find the London listed ones. And that's another reason I really enjoyed this conference. I think Beadell is off a lot of radars and it's going to be on more. But again, shout out to Simon, because that was just a really nice surprise. And again, very friendly, very nice to me. And one more on the company side, which another surprise, Dave Lotan, Aurion Resources. So a few people, they think Dave is like God, or like he can do all these amazing things. Well, maybe I'm a little bit of a believer now, because I think Dave, in terms of, I don't know how to say it exactly, not just selling the company, but like I can tell he knows a lot of stuff. It's not even so much about Aurion. I think if Dave, whatever company he gets into, I want to know what Dave's doing, and I will probably do something similar. And he probably comes more from a background like my own than any of the other people I mentioned. So I'm still learning more about Dave, but he was very generous with his time. And he follows my stuff too, and even specifically said he's read, I think, pretty much all the books that I mentioned in my videos. So that's pretty cool. That's a tip. If you want to be a smart person like Dave Lotan, you should read the types of books you find on the Mining Book Guy channel. So there you go. So really cool with Dave. And Aurion, I own a few shares. Wish I bought a lot more earlier, but you better follow that company because it's the neatest thing going on in Finland and Scandinavia. Last couple things. Extra shout out, Jordan Roy-Byrne at the Daily Gold. David Erfle at Junior Miner Junky, 2 newsletter writers, my friends, recommended me for this conference. So I'm really appreciative of that. And I will keep mentioning them. I think they have great newsletters, even though I don't subscribe. But I did trial runs with both of them. They were great. And then extra special thank you to Payne and Jessica Levental, who ran the conference. I guess Jessica is the head honcho, but Karen, really did all the nitty-gritty work. They were very friendly. I met Karen in person. I did not meet Jessica. I need to at some point, but I am very, very appreciative that someone like myself can go to this conference and that that we are welcome there, even though I know I'm in the minority compared to a lot of other people. And yeah, I really hope I can go back next year. 99% sure that I will, but I want to make 2 points. Before you ever consider going to a conference, I honestly recommend you do what I do, what I try to tell people. Call companies up, do your own research. I still get better ideas not going to these conferences, but by calling them first. Though I have to say I did get some good ideas at this conference. It's the cheapest, most effective way to go about this is calling these people up. And so don't feel bad if you don't go to these. I really recommend you follow people like me at CEO.ca, not just me, but a lot of other people who do the same thing I do. But the other tip is that I think once you get through that point, you should really consider the Beaver Creek Precious Metal Summit as your first conference. If, again, you're like me and you're thinking about it. So if you're serious about this industry and you're kind of, in the retail like me, you should reach out to me at a place like CEO.ca or my email. I've been bad about emails, but, get back to me on email. And really think hard about how serious you want to be. Because I think the next few years, this is going to be a crazy, spectacular industry. It's all coming back. This thing was dead a few years ago, and it's coming back. And conferences like the Beaver Creek Precious Metal Summit are going to be at the center of it. So again, call people and do your own research on your own right now. But you're going to want to be at these conferences if you want to be doing stuff like I am. And if you're really serious about the industry, I can help you out with that type of stuff. So again, lots of thank yous, a couple tips, and check out CEO.ca if you want to hear more from me and about how this conference went. Thanks for listening. This is Nick, the Mining Book Guy. Please like, share, and subscribe. See ya.